Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
Bill Eadie, Axe Demolition.
Sure is. Unbelievable fans, get ready. A brand new Wrestling Insiders is coming up now. Tickets are on sale now for our 20th anniversary Back to the 80s and 90s WrestleFest Birthday Bash, Saturday, November the 13th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live. This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, welcome to another Wrestling Insiders. Dan Marty, very happy to be joined by my longtime friend, a man I have eons of respect for, Mr. Bill Eadie. Bill, thank you for joining us once again.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I enjoy it.
You know what I think is amazing, though? We tape all these shows, but every time we show up to the studio, we have the same outfits on.
Well, it's coincidental.
Good luck, maybe, almost
Yeah.
like with the baseball
Yeah.
players. They're very superstitious, and so are we.
Yeah.
We want our episodes to come out good. Let's get back into the thick of things. 1987, you had your big tour of New Japan as the Masked Superstar, I believe, and then you were back right after the Super Bowl. WWF was taping TV, Tampa, Florida. Coincidentally, one of the biggest angles, I think, in wrestling history, Hogan and Andre on Piper's Pit to set up WrestleMania 3 when Andre tore the cross off of Hulk Hogan and made his chest bleed. I mean, look at, if you go back and watch that Piper's Pit segment, look at the star power. Roddy Piper, Hogan and Andre, Bobby Heenan introducing Andre,
Yep.
Jesse Ventura on the set, stirring the pot. I mean, was that not, I don't know if you watched it that night, but looking back on it, what a great segment, what a great moment to set up one of the biggest matches in the history of the industry.
Yeah, I don't remember that particular night, but I've since, over the years, I've seen it a couple times. Yeah. It's, yeah, Andre was, I think he was happy to do it at that time.
You think he wanted to be a heel?
Oh, yeah. I think he was looking for a change of pace.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, when he ripped that off, it produced a little bit of blood.
Oh, yeah. He tore that cross, baby.
Yeah.
Roddy Piper in his book said he thought he helped sell the angle by saying to Hogan, "You're bleeding," as he held his torn cross and laid there on the floor, shocked that his good friend Andre turned on him
he
like
did,
that.
and Hogan did sell it great. He actually looked amazed and shocked that would happen.
Yeah. He's magnificent. I mean, to this day, I thought that was one of the great angles in WWF history. I didn't expect it. I thought it was done the way they played it up. For a couple of weeks in a row, they were giving out the year-end awards. Andre got the smaller award, and he just kind of walked off. And that made you think, geez, Andre's not in a good mood this week. And then he later showed up with Bobby Heenan on a future episode, and they were off to the races. But talking about off to the races, Axe and Smash Demolition return to the TV tapings, only this time, Axe is Axe, Johnny V is Johnny V, Smash is looking a little different. We had the recast after one set of TV tapings, where, as we mentioned in the last episode, Randy Cully was Smash for 2 matches at a set of TVs. Now, all of a sudden, Crusher Khrushchev from the NWA, Barry Darsow, who was much less recognizable as Smash, comes in, and you're off to the races. Your thoughts, memories, of any, of that big night in Tampa, Super Bowl weekend, as Axe and Smash, as we know and love them, came to be with the luscious one in your corner.
Yeah, well, excuse me. We still had some development to do because we were still not real not displeased with Valiant, but he was out of left field sometimes. And with our character, the spikes and the paint and the intimidation, to add a little bit of comedy and levity to it didn't match the gimmick.
No.
So we were kind of cautious, and I remember shortly after that, we had approached Jimmy and told him our feelings before we went to Vince, because we needed a
Who's Jimmy?
Johnny
Oh,
Johnny
okay.
Johnny Valiant, and I was thinking of Jimmy Valiant, and before we talked to Vince about a change in managerial position, and he was open to it.
He already had a heel tag team in
Yeah.
the Dream Team.
Yeah. It just didn't fit our character to have somebody clowning around at ringside or not that he tried to put focus on him, but he was taking it from us. We're out there trying to smash people in, and he's laughing about it and ha-haing about it, which is good for certain guys. And then to make a joke. So, long story short, we asked to get Fuji. So,
And that certainly was a much better fit. I mean, you guys were out there to
sinister,
kick
devious.
ass and take no prisoners, and Johnny V was almost mocking it.
Yeah, and it wasn't that he didn't want to be with us. That was his character.
That was his gimmick, yeah.
He was jovial Johnny V.
And Jovial didn't fit what Demolition
No,
should be.
it was better with his other team. So we needed somebody devious and sneaky and cruel, and was going to put the focus on us, which Fuji did. So
And certainly what a legend and a veteran to have in your corner to be
Oh,
able
yeah.
just to look at things and critique things, you know?
he actually, on a nightly basis after the matches, as we were riding from the arena to the hotel, whether it be an hour, 2 hours, 30 minutes, we'd go over the match. And he would be constructively criticizing it. Not criticizing it, just to say something. Take this out, that was good. Delete that, reduce that, increase that. And it was a learning experience because we wanted to get better every night. Our objective, and not boastfully saying it, I think that we wanted to be the best match on the card each night. Some nights we were successful, some nights we weren't, but we at least tried every night. So,
Was it a learning experience for you taking on a new persona where you were the mass superstar for so long and had such a great career as mass superstar?
not really. It gave me, it sort of liberated me
Really?
because I could have facial expressions where under the mask you don't.
Right.
So years ago, when I first started wearing the mask, I was told by Malenko, Boris, you have to sell with your entire body, your toes, fingers, elbows, head. So, because I had no face.
Right.
So I had to project to the fans in the peanut gallery as well as the ones that could hear me moaning and groaning or reacting, which made it easier for me when I did have a face. So,
Yeah. I could see that being, like you said, almost liberating. Was there anything you took from Superstar that you wanted to include with Axe, or did you want it to be just completely different?
I'm sure I took some moves, but I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't remember hand-picking certain things. Superstar was more of a tactician and a one-on-one wrestler, where Demolition were sort of like the old Mongol years with smash mouth and attacking and brutality. Superstar could get brutal and devious and cheat, but he would work up to that point.
Did you feel like you gelled with Barry any better than you did with Randy?
Yeah, from the simple fact that, not that Randy wasn't a professional, not that he didn't know his craft, but nobody was saying, oh, that's Randy Colley, that's Moondog, Moondog. So they were watching the match.
Yeah.
They weren't calling out Moondog, Moondog, which was taking away from Randy. And then I'm sure I reacted to it. So that didn't happen.
Did Barry have any worries that he might be recognized and get catcalls like that, or no?
Not that I remember, because he wasn't in that area.
Right. So it kind of fit like a glove.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you said, Johnny V, it was certainly was an upgrade with Mr. Fuji. Was it kind of a shell shock maybe for Barry with what the travel schedule turned into? Unlike you, where you had your international travels, Barry was based more in territories and was used to the drives and so on and so forth, where with WWF, the schedule was absolutely insane, where you were on flights far more often than you were driving.
Yeah. Well, he had already worked in the Mid-South.
And that's a big driving territory.
So that was extreme driving. And going to Mid-Atlantic was 7 days a week. You are home probably an average of 3 of those, 4 days, 3 or 4 days. But a lot of driving if you want to come home. Of course, when you're in New York, you weren't going home. You might be on a road. I remember one time we were on the road 52 days straight.
Wow.
And we got 2 days off. One of those is traveling.
Right.
So we got 1 day off, and then you're back on the road for another 50 or 60 days.
And for the guys of today that claim, oh, we're on the road, but pre-corona, we're on the road 300 days a year. I don't know when you have a schedule of 4 days on and 3 days off, how you come up with that 300
You don't.
number. But
You don't.
that would have been like a vacation for you guys.
Oh my God. I remember, it's a funny story, but it's a true story. One of the times we got home, and I think we were home, supposed to be home for 2. And my daughter was little at the time. And she used, when the phone rang, she used to like to answer the phone. Mm-hmm. And I had just come in the door, set my bags down, gave my wife a hug and kiss, kissed my daughter. Phone rang. She runs over to the phone. And she, hello? 1 minute. Daddy? With the phone in her hand. Are you home or are you not home? I'm home. So I had to answer the phone. A couple guys got hurt. Me and Barry were back on the road.
Oh my
Pick the bags up, go back to the airport. I had already told her before that, when you answer the phone, Daddy's not home. So, but when they're little, they're they're honest.
Yeah, if nothing else. And how often would you find that happen? And a lot of guys have said that.
A lot.
When just as soon as they get the bags home and sit down,
it
they
got
get
to
that call where someone was injured or they needed a substitute.
It got to the point where neither Barry or I would answer the phones, and we weren't home. Our wives would answer. So, because if not, you'd be on the road 350 days a year.
Imagine if cell phones existed back then. It would have been nonstop. They would have given you a company phone
Yeah,
and
they would have.
expected you to answer 24/7 at
Yep.
their beck and call.
Yep.
Like they do almost with the creative team now more than the wrestlers. Tough spot to be in.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I give credit to Vince because he's a workaholic. But we were talking about your friends with the restaurant.
Kowloon, yeah.
Everybody doesn't want to work 24 hours a day,
Right.
7 days a week. Maybe get an hour or 2 sleep. So
Right.
you're on duty 20 hours. That's fine for, you do it for this show, I know.
Well,
But-
I haven't had a day. What am I on? I'm on consecutive day 38 or 39 is the day we're taping this.
But that's not for everybody.
No,
And
it's
when
not
you,
a good thing.
When you're traveling, doesn't matter if it's in a car or on a plane, and then get in a car, and you go to the gym, and you try to find a hotel that is nice so you can rest,
That'll let you in early.
that'll let you in early, and then go to the matches early because you got to be there for the commission to check your vitals and your license, then wrestle, and then go back after the matches and try to find someplace to eat and get into the room about 1 and get up for a 6 o'clock flight. You get worn out. So,
It's almost like circus animal treatment.
yeah. You're getting paid good. You're getting compensated. But you need to be home too, because this is my product. I have to sleep good, good hotels, have to travel good, good cars, have to eat good, good restaurants, train, or I'm going to break down. So that was our life. Now, it was a good life. I have some regrets because my family wasn't with me as much, but there's a lot of truck drivers that they're on the road by themselves.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I mean, a lot of professional people at their job, whatever it is, sacrifice to provide a good home. So,
Well, and hopefully your family, while you weren't there, at least appreciated the hard work you were
they
putting
did.
in.
They did.
I mean, your
And my
kids
wife-
maybe didn't understand, but I'm sure your wife did.
Yeah, my wife's commented on it for years, and I know Barry's wife has too. Anybody that was successful, you have to sacrifice.
You do. You do. You have to give up a lot. Believe me, there's a lot of days I'd like to take off and maybe work from home. There's a lot of days I'd like to leave hours earlier than I do just to try and produce these shows 7 nights a week for the fans, but
Yeah.
they got to get done. So you
Yeah.
know what I mean? There's a lot. I'm glued to that desk in the other room. Granted, I'm not flying and traveling and taking bumps like you guys, but I can understand the mentality of the 7 days a week. You got to be
Oh,
on
yeah.
the go, go, go. And it, mentally,
And
sometimes
there
it wears
was
you
no
down.
built-in 2-week vacation at that time.
No.
The time that you got off, you were healing a severe wound, because if it wasn't really bad injury, you were still in the ring, especially for us because your partner could cover up for you.
Right.
If you don't see somebody for any period of time, it's a major injury.
Yeah. It's tough. I mean, it was tough, and that's why I think so many of the Brotherhood, look at what they've turned into from that
Yeah.
era. It's sad. Right around that time, one of the more interesting characters of the WWF in that era, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, he was arrested for punching and knocking out a flight attendant. Any memories of...
I don't recall that.
You don't recall that?
No.
No, yeah. That's part of the reason why a couple of times he was on the bubble of being released, but I guess he owed Vince so much money in legal fees from that.
Oh,
They
my.
decided to keep him around. But I guess Jim was a little testy on a morning flight, and down she went.
might have been the combination of what we were just talking about, being testy, being hurt, being up early, not rest, and maybe a beverage or two.
Or something else. But
Yeah.
not getting enough sleep will make you testy.
Oh yeah.
It'll make you testy.
So
Especially...
he hit the flight attendant?
He knocked her the F out. Forget about
I'm-
that
I'm
WWE slogan,
surprised
get
I
the
didn't-
F out.
I'm
Jim went to town. I don't know what she said to make him angry, but he thought he was back in the college days throwing the anvil.
I'm surprised. I honestly never heard that.
He probably, and I mean, that, you know Jim, he was a strong
Oh, he
human
was.
being.
He
I mean,
was.
for him to hit a woman like that, she must have been down for the count.
Well, you know, and you've flown enough to realize there are some testy flight attendants
Sure.
who think that, and especially now with the mask mandate and the COVID and this and that, there's some, well, there's rude people in every profession.
Sure, no matter what the profession.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you knew Jim. Did you consider him to be a wild child over the years? I know the Sheik and Marty have commented that he ranked up right up there with them with as far as their medicinal use and so on.
Yeah, you know what?
And do you think it held him back at all?
There again, I wasn't. We didn't schmooze with them that much. Because we work with them. But I know that, especially like your favorite city, Las Vegas, after the matches, they had a habit of paying you. They had to pay up. I don't know what the deal was, but they had to pay a portion of your nightly pay in tokens. I don't know
You
where.
get part of a payday for wrestling in Las Vegas and casino tokens?
Yeah,
Really?
I think it was $100. I think that's the deal that they made with the casino.
Uh-huh.
So I know on a number of times we'd put ours in and you'd win maybe $10. You end up losing anyway.
Yeah.
That's why they're so classy. And Jim, I remember this one time, Jim was ahead. We had gone to the buffet and ate. And Jim was, free drinks. And I think he was up about $2,900.
Wow. It's a good night.
Yeah. And that was about 2 or 3. And then we had I don't know why we had a late flight, maybe 7 o'clock. We're coming back down. And he's still sitting there. And now he's down. Lost all the money. And he's probably a couple hundred in the hole. So, and I don't know how many times that would go. But that would be for everybody. If you stay there long enough, you're going to lose it.
They were in the business of winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he enjoyed his time. Jim enjoyed his years of wrestling. And there again, it was sad to hear that he passed. Last time I remember seeing him, he had, I guess it's dementia or Alzheimer's
Yeah,
or
he
whatever.
had really slowed down.
And his wife had him in New Orleans. And Brett was there and he was there. And he didn't recognize us.
Really?
No. So it was sad.
That
Like
was,
the last time we saw Fuji. We were doing a signing in New York. And Fuji's boy brought him.
the son?
Yeah. And he didn't recognize us either.
Really?
No.
Wow.
So
And he was still able to do an autograph session?
he
That
was
must-
writing his name,
Yeah.
but I don't know how legible it was. People just wanted to see him, I think, because
Yeah.
he was with us. I mean, he was sitting at an adjacent table with us.
Really? And he had no idea who you guys
He
were?
had no idea who we
Wow.
were. It was Barry and I, and then another small table, his son and Fuji, and that was tough.
That's sad.
Yeah.
And then for that to be the last memory too, you
Yeah.
know. It was like I remember you and Barry were nice enough to come over and pay your respects to him. We had Larry Henning with us, Mr. Perfect's dad in New Orleans, and his wife Irene. And I don't think he was quite that bad, but he'd slowed quite a bit,
Yeah.
you know. And I think it meant a lot to him when the guys would come over to him, but you could tell he was sliding. And he wound up passing that December, I believe, as a matter of fact. So I'm glad that we were able to get him out so he could come out one more time. I know Irene is a nice, lovely wife. I don't know if you ever met her, but she said it meant a lot. Whatever it was that she could get or understand from him
Yeah.
that we wouldn't, it meant a lot. So, you know,
Sure.
that made me happy that we were able
And
to
he
do
he
that.
was a well-respected guy.
Oh,
so-
sure.
And it's like Jim. I mean, he was respected in this business, and Fuji, of course. And there's a lot of ways to go, I guess. My wife's grandmother and my dad both had Alzheimer's,
Oh, it's too bad.
and they met somebody new every day.
Yeah.
So And now I see that they have a potential cure for it.
Really?
Yep.
I haven't heard
They're
about
doing
that.
some research,
Yeah.
and they're asking for research volunteers. They think that they've come up with some kind of a medical cure for it. It's still in developing stages, but
Is it a medicine? Or?
yeah, medicine. They're pushing it big in Georgia. They have a clinic down there, and they've made a lot of progress.
WWE, when they send out those alumni newsletters a couple of times a year, they should put the information in there, you know?
Yeah, I used to get all those.
You don't even get the newsletter anymore?
No.
Oh.
I used to get the, I used to chuckle because I'd get the advertisement for the drug rehab. So.
And, you know, that's one that gets me. When you look at all the guys that have, look at Marty right now. I mean, I think we've talked about having to reconstruct both of his ankles from scratch almost, just so he could walk like a normal human being. You know, they'll pay 6 figures to send someone through rehab.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases, they have to do it several times, unsuccessfully.
Most cases.
There you go. And to WWE's credit, I know they do send these folks to first-class establishments to try and help them.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine if they took a fraction of that money and try and repaired someone's ankle like that, and then all of a sudden, you have the potential where maybe they don't need the pain medication.
Look
like
at
they
the
needed
Sheiky
before.
baby. All those
Yeah.
years he suffers with that ankle.
And no one helped him.
And Marty.
The one that always sticks with me is Sherry Martel, because I spoke with her not too long before she died about a booking. And basically what she needed in her back was a steel rod. But she was in so much pain, she was on everything. And then when she ultimately passed, the really sad thing about it was, aside from overdoing her own stuff, she wound up taking her husband or her boyfriend's medication by accident, and that's what did it. Now imagine if Debbie, instead of saying, okay, Sherry, we'll send you to rehab at 6 figures, instead of, okay, we'll put a rod in your back for 25 and heal you. I don't get,
Yeah.
I get it, but I don't get it.
It should be, you know, you pay your dues there, and I've always had insurance, so it's, you know.
You've been lucky that you've done well.
Yeah, and, but there's a lot of guys and girls that need physical help, not for drugs, not mental issues, just physical help. And you're right. Thank God Cauliflower Alley does it, but
They don't have the money.
they're
Vince
limited.
does. Yeah, right.
you know, if Vince would donate $1 million to them and they could divvy it out, so
Imagine the good that could be done.
maybe it'll happen. Vince, if you're paying attention, maybe that's what you should do.
They have the money. I mean,
Yeah, it's a write-off. It's free. You're doing a benefit.
Exactly. And it would make the company look good.
Yeah.
But as I'll say this, as Marty was told by a very high-ranking WWE official, he had the same conversation we're having now. He said, if you would help me with my ankle, I wouldn't need your 6-figure rehab. And they said, well, we understand, but the problem is if we do it for you, we have to do it for everybody.
No, they don't. No, they don't. They could put an allotment out every year and have their accountants divvy it out. And maybe you don't get, if it costs $25,000, maybe you don't get 25, you get 18, and you spread it out. But giving him 18,000 and making payments on it is a lot better than 0 and making payments on 25,000.
He lucked out where he's went to college. I didn't even know Marty went to college, but believe it or not, Marty went to college, and he became very good friends with a doctor who specialized in ankle surgery. So, and I never knew this until discussing it with Marty. The doctor portion of it was free, but the hospital fee was different. So he had to pay
Yeah.
the hospital,
Yeah.
but the doctor did his work for free,
Yeah.
gratis, which
Pro bono.
was very nice of him.
Yeah.
to try and help Marty. And I mean,
And there again,
it made me feel so good the last time
Yeah.
he was with us to see him walk the way he was walking. I
And-
mean, still
and-
not good. I mean, he still shows up at the airport in slippers, but
yeah, and
He's
that-
doing better.
that's pro bono work.
yeah.
But then again, they claim that too
Right, yeah.
as a deduction. So it's like you said, it's very nice that they do that. But that could be done by everybody if they wanted to. The attorneys do it,
Yeah.
but they get it written off their taxes. So,
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, I mean-
I just wish there was more will. You know, I look at the
so
thing.
he does walk better now?
Oh my God! But the thing is, now the problem is, once the left one heals, he's got to have the right one done too. Once he heals up, but he's hoping by the end of the year he'll be able to walk much better. But the problem is, I know him; he's going to try and get in the ring again, and he and he's going to mess things up.
Well,
And the doctor has told him, he said, Marty, you can't jump, you can't fly. I mean, and I don't think Marty's the type. I think Marty, for all of his craziness, he takes a lot of pride in his work. I don't think he wants to be a walk and talk guy. And I worry that he's going to mess his feet up again. It wouldn't be good.
well, I just thank God that my dad preached to me, and which I do when I have seminars with young wrestlers. He preached to me that go to college or get a trade, which I tell my grandson now, so you don't have to rely on one situation, wrestling, blah, blah, blah. That's what I do.
Well, we got a 15-year-old in the other room we're trying to teach the same lessons to. Unbelievable, folks. We're getting the cue from the back. I can't believe this episode has already flown by. I don't even think we hit a timeout.
I don't think so.
They're loving us, Bill. I don't know. We got a dream team in the back. Special thanks to Dave, Devon, Jackie, the joke man. The joke is on us, but the joke isn't on you. Folks, again, leave us your thoughts in the Premier Chat or in the comment section below. The eBay store is always open for business. Give us a super chat. Don't forget to tip the bartender. And of course, patreon.com/Boston Wrestling for early ad-free access to all of these great shows, our extensive studio shoot interview DVD library, Patreon exclusives, and the knowledge that you are helping keep professional wrestling legends working, which sometimes a company in Stamford forgets about. For my partner in crime, Bill Eadie, I'm Dan Marty. Until next time, you and yours, please be well, stay healthy. Good night. Tickets are on sale now for our 20th anniversary Back to the 80s and 90s WrestleFest Birthday Bash, Saturday, November the 13th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts. Thank you for joining us. Please give the video a big thumbs up, leave us a comment, and subscribe to the channel to enjoy more great content. Don't forget, you can help keep wrestling legends working. Check out our eBay store and join the Boston Wrestling family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling so we can produce more in-depth shoot interviews.